Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Spring Equinox Celebration 2023. And in just a few hours, spring will allegedly be here. Now, for those of you who are in the south of the US and many other places in the US, you might be a little chilly. So I decided to wear my spring finery so that I might at least pretend that spring is right here with us. So for those of you who are with us in person, and for those of you who are seeing the recording, welcome. We're so glad to have you with us. This is indeed a time for celebration and appreciation. So hopefully you'll gain some insights and some ideas to think about as you usher in spring. So gosh, it's 1 o'clock Eastern time, and in 4 hours, it will be here. Okay, so we're going to start by calling in sacred space. And if you will, just put your feet on the ground and let's do some deep breathing, just to be able to release any stresses that you might have had today. So breathe in that breath of life. I always like to start with that, and let the breath of life enliven all of your organs and your limbs and fingers and toes, and just welcome the breath of life and exhale anything that is stressing you from the day. Just let it go. And breathing in again, deep breath of life, and connect to your higher power, the God of your understanding. If it's nature, if it's all that is, creator, creatrix, whatever, your highest consciousness, just bring it in and breathe out. Let it all go. And just one more deep breath. Let it circulate through your body. Exhale. And as we sit on the cusp of spring, let us call in all of the magic of this time of year, with growth in the northern hemisphere, with the changing of the seasons in the summer, in the southern hemisphere, leaving summer behind and entering into the fall season. Wherever you are, it's a magical time. It's a time of transformation. It's a time of new beginnings, or a time for letting go. And just honor that within you. If you're in the northern hemisphere, bless the growth that is beginning to happen. It may still be beneath the earth, or it may be beginning to come into your sight. Bless it and express our gratitude for yet another turning of the wheel, another season of the year with all its many gifts. And so it is. Well, I'm hoping that whoever is here on the call, that you'll feel free to share your thoughts with us as we go. And any questions you might have, please feel free to share. So what does the equinox actually signify? And we look at it from a spiritual level. It's thought to represent the period of struggle between darkness and light, death and life. It occurs when the night and day will be equal, and the journey of the sun to actually get there also signifies the journey of the universe. So from a spiritual level, it represents so many things that we don't stop and think about. But it is a time of rebirth and growth. the earth is coming alive. And you can feel it. You can feel the vibration. You can feel the joy of Mother Earth bringing to us all the gifts that will make this growing season possible. So the dark months are over and we're moving into the warmth of the light. Your spirit's waking up with new ideas and new dreams. And one thing we will talk about as we go further is this transition from a time of being in hibernation to a time of coming out, of stretching your limbs. Think of the bear coming out of the cave and kind of looking around in wonder. He's probably a lot thinner at this point. We've been in hibernation, maybe we are as well, or maybe not. But whatever, this time of year will inspire you and help you to feel alive. So just soak that up and understand that this is that time. So Ostara, there are several goddesses that are associated with this time of year, and Ostara is one of them, personified by the goddess who represents the dawn, the coming of new light and rebirth through many of the rituals, decorations, and gifts that we are familiar with to this day. So it was not anything original, the colorful Easter eggs, rabbits, and baskets. There were many pagan influences that we have carried forward. The pagans didn't deny divinity. They just celebrated it more in a way in connection with the earth. And Ostara definitely represents that. She brought with her every spring all these gifts. And so it makes sense then that in pagan times, they would have a goddess. They had gods and goddesses for everything. So Ostara was one, and she represents all the sweetness of this time of the year and all the color that we have come to know and celebrate. So I love this depiction of her. It's very sweet. And here's one of my favorite stories that they tell about Ostara. You might have seen this story as the origin of the Easter Bunny. So the ancient Germanic goddess Ostara transformed a bird into a hare, and the hare responded by laying colored eggs for her festival. So I always thought eggs came from chickens, but you never know. So I love some of these tales. They're just they're really sweet and give us a new perspective. Now, Persephone was also a symbol of spring from the Greek, and Plutarch writes that Persephone was identified with the spring season, and Cicero calls her the seed of the fruits of the fields. In the Illusion Mysteries, her return from the underworld each spring is a symbol of immortality, and hence she was frequently represented on sarcophagus.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning.
We are recording, and I'm going to mute everyone.
For the what?
I'm going to mute everyone.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So if you want to comment, please, by all means, pop in, but just to keep things flowing so we don't have any background noise. I went ahead and muted everyone. Boxes for burial of the dead made of limestone, which helps body decompose more quickly. That's a sarcophagus. So Persephone, if you know the story of her going to the underworld and being able to come back and live again, sounds familiar to stories that we have in our history. as well, or our herstory, if you will. But there were these goddesses that represented this time of the year, and there was much celebration in line with them. And what better excuse to have a party, to have a festival than the springtime? So here's what I was referring to a few minutes ago. This inner to outer shifting. So we've been hibernating, we've been kind of touching on some ideas and things that we might want to bring to fruition in this coming growing season. And so sometimes it's a little rocky. It's a little difficult to make that transition from inward to outward. And if you're feeling a little off balance, that's okay. I mean, add to that the changing of the time from standard time to daylight savings time, and you've got a recipe for what I would call feeling wonky. So be patient, understand that it's going to take a little time for you to adjust. Implementing changes required in order to grow and flourish can really disrupt your sense of equilibrium in late winter. But with the spring equinox, the earth returns to a place of perfect balance. Day and night are equal, the light and the dark, bringing the return of some much needed balance into your own life. So is anybody experiencing a challenge in shifting from the inner work to the outer work? Just pop in if you have anything you want to say about that. It is, and I've talked with many people lately who are saying, yeah, I'm just a little off. So we can blame it on change of time. We can blame it on this inner and outer shifting of the seasons as well. Anybody want to add to that? Okay, I'm going to hear your voices later, I know. I want you to think about yourself as spring. You yourself. You are the definition of spring because you continue to rebirth yourself. I really want you to think about that and hold that concept, because through the years, you have gone from childhood to adolescence, a rebirth, from teen to adult, a rebirth, from student to employee or employer, and perhaps from single to married life. So you are the epitome of spring. And I don't know that we think about ourselves in that way. But it's something really to consider. You are the spreader of new ideas. As the ice and snow begin to thaw outwardly, the growth you've been nurturing in your mind and body will become clearer. Your vision, as it shakes off the cold, will cascade the melting snow to water your vision and help it flourish. So that was just something that came to me, that it is that snow, you know, as we kind of shake it off, and maybe you can shake it off a little bit too, so that you begin to feel the warmth, whether the temperature outside says it's warm or not. But as you warm, there'll be new buds and leaves that will represent what you have been percolating in hibernation over the last few months. So at Imbolc, we talked about that. We talked about the seeds that we've been planting. And now there's very tiny little seedlings are coming into being. You may not realize it. You may not quite feel it yet, or you might, but I'd like to know how you will nurture these tiny little buds of ideas that you may realize you have or you may not realize you have. I'd love to hear from you. What is it that you can do in this spring season to bring forth these new ideas, to bring forth everything that that you've been nurturing under the earth in hibernation? So just unmute yourself and let me know how you're going to nurture what's coming forward for you.
Bonnie, for me, this is Kay.
Okay.
Hey, I'm at the coast, so hopefully my reception is okay. I'm in
Excellent.
at Emerald Isle at the beach, and for me, it's stepping out of becoming. I left corporate America 2 years ago to become a healer, or to, I guess, proclaim, and for me, it's stepping out of that box and telling people more about Akashic record readings, more about what my husband calls my woo-woo, and embracing it as opposed to just doing it with a group of friends. That's, so that's what my goal is to become a Reiki master healer. Or I am a Reiki master, but to become a healer and make that my occupation as opposed to a hobby.
Okay, that is so beautiful. We can never
I didn't say it quite well, but you got my feeling there.
well, we can always use more healers, and as long as you have that vision, you can very much bring it into being. So congratulations on that. What will you do? How will you go about doing that? Will it be more courses? Will it be just putting out your shingle? What are you going to do?
Well, the courses I've been doing, I'm a Virgo, so I love my courses, my lists, my, but yes, I'm doing another Akashic record class, but mainly going and renting a space by the hour. I've got a place that I'm trying to, or two places actually, trying to step out to that next level of making it a reality. And again, it's just by the hour. So I'm not going to be buying us because I don't have a clientele except friends and things, but to rent a place here in North Carolina, we can do it by the hour. I'm sure you can as well there, but and making that a home, so to speak.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I wish you so much good fortune.
Well,
That's
thank
great.
you.
That's just great. Who else? How are you going to nurture what you've been kind of working on in your head and your body over the last few months?
Hi, Bonnie. This is Andrea.
Hi, how are you, Xandra? It's good to hear you again.
Thank you. I've had this ecstatic priestess within me that has just been itching to get out, and I've been holding her back. And so I think with the spring and new life and the flowers blooming and everything, it's time to let her out.
Fabulous. And how are you
Yes.
going to do that, Xandria?
Well, I'm doing a women's Qigong course called Radiant Lotus Qigong. And she's very much into the healing of the body because the body will be expressing that ecstasy and bliss and pleasure. Wow. And I'm also going to be doing a frame drum class, rhythms that will help people to shift consciousness and heal and just have fun.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, I can see that there are some very good leaders in this group. And this is a perfect time for that. It really is. It's needed more than you can imagine. Anyone else care to share? Hey, Well, maybe you've given some others ideas about what they can do as well. I think that if we hear our fellows, if you will, our women friends, we can gain new ideas and come to a point where we find something that we want to follow, something we want to nurture. And just because you choose something now does not mean that it is forever. So try some new things, step up. Don't be afraid to give yourself an opportunity to grow and expand. I think you'll be really glad you did. Oh, okay. We're going to take about 5 minutes here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the evolution of yourself. So in an earlier slide, we talked about going from childhood to teen years, maybe single to married, maybe student to employee. So we're constantly evolving, and that's why you're here. That's why you chose to be here, is to learn a new way, to learn something about yourself or a direction you can go. So take just a couple of minutes. We'll give it 3, 4, 5 minutes. And what do you see as the next evolution of yourself? See how that is. Give you some silence to think about that. Well, maybe I'll put on some quiet music. Some people like that. Okay. I'm curious if anyone is willing to share what the next evolution of themselves is going to be.
I try to write and not think at first, right? And let it go, flow, and not get in the way. And mine came out as healer, sage, medicine woman.
Oh, sweet, sweet, sweet.
Those are my
sweet.
loves. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Kathleen.
I was a registered nurse for years and went back to school some years ago to do integrative manual therapy. And I had a little business going until COVID hit. And then that kind of was the end of that. And I was out in California for a year and a half, babysitting newborn twins, my son and whatnot. So now that I'm back and settled, I did get a 2-bedroom apartment, and I was thinking I can't really afford it, but if I'm meant to do healing, I have to have a space for that. And didn't you know, the place I looked at, the 2-bedroom was less rent than the 1-bedroom. So I said, well, that must be saying something. So I got the 2-bedroom, and I've had a friend in and out staying with me. She's going back to Wisconsin this month, but I want to do that. And I do Reiki with all my healing touch and integrative manual therapy. I went back to school for a few years ago, and I like to incorporate that. But the clients just don't seem to be coming. But at least for the winter, I felt like I was meant to more look inward and work on myself, the spiritual things that I know about that I don't like to look at. And I'm taking a course now. I follow a woman who channels Mother Mary, and she does this course every year. And I've taken it another time, but I felt like something was prodding me to maybe open up. And she's working a lot on willingness and resentment. And I don't think of myself as being a resentful person, but boy, I've come across some resentments I have about changing. And so I've been working on that. And so I feel like I'm kind of finishing up that now. So, and now with the nicer weather coming in, I have this room. I am going to look at the healing thing. I've had trouble with it before, just getting out in the public eye. I do it a lot for friends, and I do it at our church and, whatnot, but doing it more as a business type of thing. But I don't know if that's in me at this age or not. But that's it for now.
So, gosh, what have you got to lose by trying?
Nothing. You're right.
And, and that's what this season is about. It's about that. Okay, let me try it on. Let me see if it fits. And if it fits, great. And if not, I've learned something so that I can go on and try something else. I love, we have a dear mentor by the name of Christy Gray. And I love what she says about fear. She said, when you are feeling fear, choose curiosity instead. And I love that saying, because oftentimes a person gets fearful or unsure, and we can always say, well, what if that works out? Well, what if something really good comes from that? And by the same token, the more you try, the more chances you have of success. And so I say that to all of us on the call, including myself. So yeah, make that choice, and then give it your all for a period of time. You can set an intention. I'm going to try this for a few months and see what happens, see what I learn, see where I go from here. And that somehow takes that onus off your shoulders a little bit. So I don't know. That's just my my way of looking at it. So, anyone else want to share what they see as the next evolution of themselves? I hope you'll consider that, because it is an opportunity to set an intention, and spring is such a great time for intentions. Okay, we will keep going. So, because we are at the time when we're going to balance things, certainly we want to balance the elements in our lives. And we start with Earth. So Earth is asking us to balance our rest and our activity. And if we get in practice for that now, then we can do that all year long. Somehow in our society, we get out of balance about rest and activity, and we kind of overdo it, especially at this time of year when we're looking to balance. We want to honor the various cycles. You know, this is Earth's about cycles. So we want to look at how much we're working and how much we're playing. Playing is restorative, and playing gives us a clearness of thought that allows new ideas to come in. So please consider playing as part of your growth. And look at the wheel of the year. You know, every 6 weeks, there's an event, whether it's a solstice, an equinox, a cross quarter day. And every one moves us around the wheel of the year. So consider what each event is bringing forward for you. And then as you balance Earth, nurture your body and your soul. So because Earth is, our Mother Earth is in the condition she's in, one of the questions I'd like you to consider going forward is, what will you do to help Mother Earth? And we won't necessarily talk about it now. I want you to think about it. What can you do? Are you going to plant something? Or are you going to honor the earth in some way? Are you going to recycle differently? Or there's just so many ways, so many things you can do. Work to save the earth. Work to help educate about global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it. That anything, any step you can take, if everybody were to take one step to help Mother, the world would be a very different place. Okay, so balancing water. This is the time of year that we get to melt what's been frozen inside of us. And because we probably have done some less socializing, more being inside because of the weather, we may have frozen up inside. Or that may have been over the last few years as we've been dealing with COVID. We've been inside more, we've had less socializing. Maybe we're frozen inside for other reasons, and this will be the spring to allow the unfreezing to occur. Water teaches us to play, and I'm going to keep emphasizing play, because that is the work of the soul. And as we ebb and flow, as we work, it's also time to play. And that is a great gift in the balancing of water. So here's your question for water. What will thaw within you, and how will you manifest that transition in the world? So you've got some stuff here to think about. You know, what do you have frozen inside of you, whether it's a thought, a desire, an emotion, What are you willing to unfreeze? I think we all have something. And that goes back to sometimes the fear piece as well. Fear being an emotion that's part of the water realm. So there's great work and forward progress to be made when you balance water. Air. So air is about thought, it's the mental realm, and it's about our intentions. Maybe it's time to review any intentions you set or any goals you set for the new year. Just because you set them in January doesn't mean that they still are the right way to go or the best way to go at this time of year. So review them. You don't have to be attached to your intentions from early in the year. Maybe you tried and it didn't work, and that's okay. To not blame ourselves, to understand that these are for our own good. Whatever intentions we set that we weren't able to meet, or whatever goals we set we weren't able to meet, we look at them again. We say, did this really serve me? Maybe I need to tweak it, change it up a little bit, or maybe I just need to let it go. And then air asks us to balance imagination and logic. So when you put imagination and logic together, you get magic. You get magic. Putting them together is a recipe for making something happen. Look at all the great inventions of our world. If it wasn't someone's imagination and their logic to put it together, we would not have those inventions. We would not have that progress. And so you got to balance it. You know, you might have a terrific idea, and it would be better if you added pieces of your imagination to it. And imagine it completed, imagine it out in the world. I love that we have healers in the circle today, because if you can imagine that and put your know-how, your logical understanding with it, my goodness, there's just no end to where you could possibly be. So my question for air is, what is one beautiful thought you carry forward and share with others this spring equinox? Just think about that. You have the thoughts. I know you do. You may not be sharing them, but they're there. So what's one beautiful thought you'll carry forward? And then fire. So fire is the action realm. And what's really important to know is when to go and when to stop. When are you running yourself ragged, running your full chi, and wearing yourself out? When you're not separating day and night, action from play, what can happen? You know, you're going to burn yourself out. And understanding your chi, your energy body will keep it from running you. You want to be in charge of your energy body. You get to know when it needs rest and when it needs to go forward. And sometimes we lose sight of that. Maybe we're excited about something and we go until we can't go anymore. So my question for fire, what is your passion for spring and how will you express it? And spirit, God of your understanding, all that is, nature, however you define that. It's really important to balance it, to embody spirit and at the same time practice spirituality. We can we can want to be spirit in the world. I say that for these wonderful healers in the group. And while we're embodying spirit, we want to recognize and continue to practice our own spirituality, keep that connection going. And so my question for spirit is, what is one spiritual practice you will emphasize this equinox? I want to go back just a little bit. We have a few more minutes. And I want to go back and look at some of these questions. And I'd love to get, one answer to these questions from someone. So, Earth, what will you do to help Mother Earth this spring equinox? Anybody got something they're going to offer Mother Earth?
Planting flowers.
Beautiful. Maybe somebody's going to have a garden.
I'm going to continue to add soil conditioners and compost and stuff, because my home is in the middle of town and the earth is basically dead dust. So it needs all the help it can get to nurture any life forms.
Love it. Wonderful, wonderful. Great. Okay. So balancing water. This is a big one. Is there anything within you that you will allow to thaw and manifest that transition in the world? It's a big question. Some of that may be personal, I understand. I know that I have work to do in that regard, to begin to really accept my position as an elder in the community, and to realize that I can be the teacher and the taught. I love that phrase also from my friend Christy Gray, being the teacher and the taught, because I learn from you all when you share as well. Anyone else have anything that they want to manifest in regard to water? Okay. Air. What is one beautiful thought you carry forward and share with others this spring equinox? Yes, Kathleen, please.
Encouraging friends of mine to get out in nature. I walked a Camino a lot of miles last summer, and part of it was for the sake of being out in nature so much. And it's really changed how I feel about being out there. And fortunately, I live near one of the Chattahoochee nature centers, along the river here. So I did get a couple friends to go out with me Saturday, and just walked about 4 miles, and up and back, and just to find the beauty in Mother Nature.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
And
Yes.
Bonnie, this is Kay. Mine is change, to embrace change and not be scared of it. I've had a long, I want to say dark night of the soul with a house flood, and it's really changed my perspective on that change is something that we all need to embrace and go forward. And that's what we're all here on earth to do, is to grow and change and not be static and stationary. So I just learned a hard way. My
Yeah.
house is still not fixed. I still have had, but so change is, yeah, spirit does things in a different way, right?
Of course, yes, but that's awesome. Embracing change. I love it. Fire. What is your passion for spring and how will you express it? What are you passionate about right now?
Childlike play, just like you said. I actually want to make it into a business of some sort, an adult day camp of sorts, to embrace the play for everyone.
Great. That would be fantastic. Let me know when you got it up and running.
I will. I don't want to be the owner. I just left a family business, but I'm embracing it. So yes, play for everyone. We don't do enough.
Indeed. Okay. What is one spiritual practice that you might ramp up right now? Doesn't have to be big. One small thing.
More meditation daily.
Hmm. Great. Awesome. Thank you all. Great answers. Great answers. So here are some things you can do this equinox, and there's time, because we're in the equinox window from yesterday through tomorrow. Create an altar dedicated to your new intentions for the season. Adorn it with bright colors, plants, and herbs that promote growth and healing. Place it in the sunshine to warm your hearts and minds after the dark months of winter. Wake at sunrise. Rise early from bed to glimpse the sun peeking over the horizon. And create new goals or projects like we talked about. Spring equinox is a time of balance and beginnings. Start a project with a balance, clear head, and an open plane of possibilities. Can your body and mind to the new day with the sun. And again, if those goals and intentions from the new year aren't serving you, time to choose another. You don't have to be stuck with the old ones. If you're feeling something new and exciting blooming within you, by all means, go for it. So we have lots of things at Wise Transformation to support people. Sign up for our e-zines. Those are free, and we have monthly new moon and full moon ceremonies. We do solstice, equinox, and cross quarter days. And so all of those are free, and we want to share them with the community. We love growing our community. We know we have the greatest folks in the Wise Transformation community, and so many wonderful contributors. If you're not sure, if you've not heard about illuminating your soul, please go to wisetransformation.com. It is a cross-quarter day event that's happening 4 times this year. You can still get the recording from Beltane and go on and experience the other 3 cross-quarter days by just signing up, and that there is a moderate cost for that. But they're half-day events, and they're speakers that you haven't heard from before, more than likely, and they're very exciting. Just the new thought, and that's what Wise Transformation is dedicated to. We're dedicated to new thought and the new thought leaders, because there are so many wise women and men who are coming up with some fabulous new teachings. We want to make sure that we're on the cutting edge of that and making sure that that information is available to you. So please, by all means, you can reach me, Bonnie, at wisetransformation.com, if you have any questions. So I'd like to take, we've got a few more minutes, and I'd like to take this time to open the floor up and see if anyone wants to share any thoughts about this time of year, about their intentions, or are there any practices that they've done in the past around spring equinox that that might give us some ideas? Are there any special foods that you make? Of course, theoretically, eggs are supposed to stand on one end during this time today. Has anybody ever done that? Tried that?
No.
No.
I've
So-
heard it's true, but I haven't done it. No, ma'am.
Yeah, I think we should try. Maybe that's the thing to do. Take a raw egg, stand it. I don't know. Do you stand it on the thin end or the round end? I don't know. Anyway, we can try and report back whatever you find. So has anyone done anything in the past, any kind of ritual for this time of year, for spring equinox? Okay. Sandria, hi.
Hi, hey, I've been reading a magazine called Victoria Bliss, and it's all about just making beauty everywhere. And
Wow.
so for spring equinox, I am taking some scones that I've made with a pot of tea out into the garden and take my shoes off and do some earthing and just enjoy the day.
Yeah, that's lovely. Very lovely. We can't see your face. Your camera's up so high.
Oh,
There you are. There you are. So what part of the country are you in?
I'm in Southwest Washington State.
What's the weather there?
Well, it doesn't know what it's going to do today. It was gorgeous on Saturday. It was like 60. And now it's kind of rainy, but I've seen the sun, so I don't know what's going to go on. But I'll wait for a window of opportunity and take my scones and tea out.
Awesome. Beautiful. Beautiful. Who else? Anybody gonna plant anything? Too early, too late, but who's a gardener in the group? Can tell us about planting.
I am. I wait just a little longer because I'm in North Carolina, so I'll lose them if I do it this early. But I've bought some seeds so far, and I'm waiting with bated breath.
Nice.
But mostly mine is a self-love ceremony that I'll be doing today,
Ah,
later this evening. I'm here by myself at the beach, so yeah. I have my sage and some stones and things and my cards, and look forward to it. So I appreciate you doing this today. This has been a great lunch break, and I actually have to go to another work meeting. I have to do a little bit of other work, but thank you so much, Bonnie, for this. This has been great.
well, it's wonderful to have you, Kay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cynthia sent a message. I'm going to ask Mother for gifts from Earth to make a lovely crown like yours. Thanks, Cynthia. Yeah, this was done for me. This was a gift to myself on a major birthday. And there's a woman in North Carolina who made the Sherry Starfire. And she had me do an intention which she wove into the crown itself. So I love it. It's been with me for many years, and it's something very special that that I put on for this day. So what other thoughts do you all have? Is there anything that you would like to share? And Kay, thank you for your comments. I appreciate that. I hope your meetings go well. Okay. So if that's it, want to say thank you. Deeply grateful to all of you for joining in. And I hope that you're taking away at least some idea of something special that you will do for yourself, for Mother Earth, and for your well-being in connection with Spirit. So I wish you all just a magnificent spring. If you have any comments or want to reach out to me, I'm always glad to hear from you. That's Bonnie@wisetransformation.com. So take care.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bonnie.
Bonnie. Thank you.
Thank you. Blessings to
Thank-
all from Cynthia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Blessings.